2 weeks ago, my mother rang my doorbell. First time in 9 years. I was standing at the kitchen window, drying a coffee mug, when the taxi pulled up. She stepped out slowly. Beige cardigan. Black slacks. Pearl studs she'd worn to church every Sunday since I was a little girl. A carry-on suitcase, small, worn at the corners. She stood on the sidewalk for a full 30 seconds before she walked up the path. She was evaluating the house, the porch, the garden beds, like a real estate appraiser. The doorbell rang. I already knew why she was here, and she had absolutely no idea what was waiting for her on the other side of that door. My name is Iris Archer. I'm 33 years old. I'm a CFO, a mother of twins, and a co-founder of a company that went public on the NASDAQ 2 weeks before this moment. And in the bottom drawer of my desk sat a navy blue binder. 29 items. 9 years. Every returned birthday card. Every ignored voicemail. Every screenshot. Every single piece of evidence that my own mother had erased me from the family. Not because I did something wrong, but because I loved someone she refused to accept. She came to my door with a list of what she wanted. I had a list of what she did. To understand what happened at that kitchen table, you need to go back. Way back. Milfield, Ohio. Population 2,000 and change. One Baptist church. One barbershop. One diner where every booth smelled like coffee and bacon grease, no matter what time you walked in. That was my entire world until I was 18. My father, Kenneth, worked at the lumber yard on Route 7 for 31 years. Same shift. Same boots. Same quiet nod when he walked through the door at 5:42 every single evening. Like clockwork. My mother, Diane, ran the household and the church women's committee with equal precision. She organized the Easter brunch. She coordinated the prayer chain. She decided who brought what to every potluck, and nobody argued. Nobody ever argued with Diane Archer. My sister Paige was 4 years younger, and everything I was not. Loud. Confident. The kind of girl who got voted homecoming queen and acted surprised. Mom adored her. Dad called her sunshine. And then there was me. The quiet one. The one who did the dishes without being asked, scored perfect on every math test, and never got a party for either. I don't say this with bitterness. I say it because you need to understand the math. In our family, love was a budget. And Paige was the line item that always got funded first. When I was 18, I got a full scholarship to Ohio State. First Archer to ever go to college. Mom packed my suitcase herself. She slipped a card inside, flowers on the front, her handwriting on the back. Come home soon. You belong here. I kept that card for 15 years. It's still in my desk drawer, right next to the navy binder. It was the last kind thing she ever wrote me. I met Marcus Ellison in advanced statistics. Spring semester. Junior year. He sat 2 rows ahead of me and solved regression problems like he was reading a grocery list. Methodical. Never rushed. Engineering major. Computer science minor. Partial scholarship from Cleveland. His mother, Cora, was a retired school librarian. His father left when Marcus was 4. Cora raised him alone. Worked 2 jobs until he was 16. Then 1 job and 3 volunteer positions. Marcus was biracial. He had his mother's eyes and his father's jawline. And this way of listening that made you feel like everything you said actually mattered. Our first date was a taco truck near campus. He paid with crumpled singles. I paid with quarters. We split a horchata and talked until the truck closed. He told me he wanted to build something. He didn't know what yet, but something that solved a real problem. I told him I wanted a job where the numbers meant something. He said, then we're in the right field. We dated for 3 years. Quiet, steady, unremarkable years. He met my parents twice. The first time, Mom smiled too wide and called him Michael instead of Marcus. The second time she got his name right, but didn't look at him when she said it. Both times Dad shook his hand and said almost nothing. I told myself it was nerves. Small town people. They just needed time. Paige was the honest one. She leaned over at Thanksgiving dinner and whispered, "He's nice. But Mom is never going to be okay with this. You know that, right?" I didn't know that. Not yet. Marcus proposed on a Tuesday. No ring at first. Just a conversation at our kitchen table in our tiny apartment near campus. He said, "I want to spend my life with you. I want to build something with you. Will you let me?" I said yes before he finished the sentence. I called home that night. Mom picked up on the 3rd ring. I told her, The line went quiet for 7 seconds. I counted. Then she said, "You need to think about what this means for this family, Iris. Not congratulations. Not tell me about the ring. A warning." Dad got on the extension. He cleared his throat twice and said nothing. 2 days later, Paige texted, "Mom has been crying since you called. Are you happy now?" I was. For the first time in years, I genuinely was. But I didn't reply that. 2 weeks after the call, a letter arrived. Not an email. Not a text. A letter. Handwritten. Diane Archer's cursive on cream-colored stationery. She wrote 4 paragraphs. The last one said, "If you go through with this, you are choosing him over your family. We cannot support this. We will not attend. And if you walk down that aisle, do not expect to walk back through our door. He is not one of us, Iris. He never will be." That was the line. She drew it in blue ink on cream stationery. And she expected me to stand on her side of it. I read the letter 3 times, folded it, and put it in a manila folder. Something in me, the part that files receipts and labels bank statements, told me to hold on to it. I held on. We got married at the Multnomah County Courthouse on a Saturday in June. 12 guests. All friends. All Marcus's side. His mother, Cora, flew in from Cleveland with a garment bag and a Tupperware of pound cake. She pinned a silk flower to my dress, held both my hands, and said, "Welcome to the family, baby." No father walked me down the aisle. There was no aisle. There was a hallway with fluorescent lights and a judge who mispronounced our names. The reception was at a Thai restaurant where we pushed 4 tables together, and Marcus's college roommate gave a toast that made everyone laugh, so hard Cora spilled her water. My dress cost $160. Consignment shop on Hawthorne. White. Simple. Fit perfectly. Marcus wore a navy suit he bought on clearance. We looked like 2 people who had just done the most important thing of their lives on a budget. Because we had. That night, I sat on the edge of the bed and stared at our grocery store bouquet, $6, and my hands shook. Not from doubt. From grief. I had just gotten married. And the 2 people who raised me didn't care enough to watch. 1 week later, I mailed a card to Milfield. Inside, our wedding photo. Marcus and me on the courthouse steps grinning. I wrote, "We are happy. I hope you can be happy for us someday." The card came back 11 days later. Stamped in red. Returned to sender. I stared at that stamp for a long time. Then I opened the manila folder, slipped the card inside, and wrote in red pen, "Item 2. Wedding photo returned." That was the beginning of the binder. Year 1 was the hardest. I called Mom 4 times. Voicemail every time. I left messages, short, careful, the kind where you choose every word because you know it might be the last one she ever listens to. Mom. Just calling to say hi. Marcus got a job. I'm studying for my CPA exam. I miss you. Call me back whenever you're ready. She never called back. I sent cards, her birthday, Dad's birthday, Christmas. All 3 came back. Same red stamp. Dad sent 1 text. February. 4 words. Your mother needs time. That was it. No follow-up. No second text. Those 4 words sat in my phone like a voicemail I couldn't delete. In year 2, Marcus quit his job. Not recklessly. He had a plan. For 6 months, he'd been building a prototype on nights and weekends. A compliance platform for small businesses. The kind of software that made SEC filings and financial audits less painful for companies that couldn't afford a legal team. That he knew compliance. I knew finance. Between the 2 of us, we understood the exact problem nobody else wanted to solve. He set up a desk in our garage. 2 monitors. A space heater. A whiteboard from Goodwill, $12. I came home from my analyst job every evening, heated up leftover soup, and sat next to him reviewing financial models until midnight. Marcus built the engine. I built the dashboard. Neither of us slept enough. Compliance Core launched 7 months later with 4 customers, and a free trial that crashed twice on the first day. And in that same year, I upgraded the folder into a proper binder. Navy blue. 3 rings. Dividers for each year. Red pen labels on every item. I was not building a case. I was not planning revenge. I was doing what I had always done. Keeping records. Because financial analysts don't throw away documentation. Ever. Liam and Sophie arrived on a Wednesday morning in November. 6 pounds each. Identical dark curls. Sophie screamed for 4 hours straight. Liam slept through all of it. Marcus cried. I had never seen him cry before. He held Sophie in his left arm and Liam in his right, stood by the hospital window, and said quietly, "They are going to know they are loved." Every single day. Cora flew in the next morning. Stayed 2 weeks. Cooked. Cleaned. Rocked Liam at 3 a.m. while I fed Sophie. She brought a blanket she'd crocheted herself, yellow and white, soft enough to make you cry, and a silver bracelet for each baby, engraved with their birthdays. That was what a grandmother looked like. I had sent Diane the ultrasound photos 5 months earlier. Returned. I sent birth announcements. 2 cards, 1 for each twin. Returned. I sent photos. Liam sleeping on Marcus's chest. Sophie gripping my finger. Returned. 3 more items added to the binder. Items 13, 14, 15. Then Paige texted someone from our hometown. A mutual friend forwarded it to me without comment. Paige's text read, "Her children don't have real grandparents." That is what she chose. I sat in the nursery with that message on my screen for 11 minutes. Sophie was asleep in the crib. Liam was in my arms. I could hear Cora in the kitchen, humming something low and sweet while she washed bottles. My children had a grandmother. Her name was Cora Ellison, and she flew from Cleveland every 6 weeks. Never missed a birthday. I printed the screenshot. Filed it. Item 16. Red pen. Dated. By year 7, Compliance Corps landed at Series B. $12 million. Post-money valuation. $68 million. Marcus and I still held 22%. We were not rich. Not yet. But the numbers were heading somewhere. I had only ever modeled in spreadsheets. I left my analyst job and joined Compliance Corps full-time as CFO. First time my name was on the company paperwork next to his. We were partners in everything. TechCrunch ran a piece. 2 fintech newsletters mentioned it. Nothing major. The kind of coverage that people in the industry noticed, and everyone else scrolled past. But someone in Milfield, Ohio, did not scroll past. 2 weeks after the article, a friend texted me. Kind of random, but your mom asked me about your husband's company at church on Sunday. She wanted to know what Series B meant. I read that text 3 times. Mom had not spoken my name in 7 years. She didn't know what Series B meant, but she wanted to. The math was changing. And Diane Archer was paying attention. Then Forbes ran its annual companies to watch list. Compliance score. Number 47 out of 50. Small mention. 2 sentences. But it was Forbes. And that same month, someone from Milfield, Ohio viewed my LinkedIn profile. 3 times in 1 week. Private browser. Burner account. But the location was right there. Milfield, Ohio. Then my friend Tess texted again. Your mom told Linda at church that she always knew Marcus was smart. Direct quote. Linda said Diane sounded proud. Always knew. 7 years of silence. And now she always knew. I didn't add that to the binder. It was hearsay. But I wrote it on a post-it and stuck it to the inside cover. Because I wanted to remember the exact moment Diane Archer started rewriting history. She was not proud of Marcus. She was not even sorry. She was recalculating. The group chat arrived on a Monday. Tess called me at 7 p.m., sounding rattled. Iris. Paige accidentally added me to a family group chat. I was in it for 3 days before they noticed and removed me. I took screenshots. She sent me 7 screenshots. 3 days of unfiltered Archer family conversation. I read them in the parking lot of Liam's soccer practice. Paige. His company was valued at $68 million last round. I've been tracking the funding filings. If they IPO, we're looking at $300 million minimum. Diane. How do we approach this? She won't listen to me. Kenneth. Maybe I should call first. Feel her out. Viene. No. I need to go in person. With a plan. A real plan. Paige, make a list. Be specific about what we need. She's a numbers person. She'll respond to numbers. Diane. How much should we ask for? Paige, start with the mortgage, then medical, then retirement. College for my son. Monthly support. Layer it. Make it look like family investment, not a request. Kenneth. This doesn't feel right. Diane. Kenneth. She has more money than this entire town. She can afford to help her family. Kenneth did not reply after that. I sat in my car with the engine off. The dashboard clock read 7:22. Through the windshield, I could see Liam running across the field, chasing a ball twice the size of his head. My hands were shaking. Not from sadness. From clarity. 9 years of silence. 9 years of returned birthday cards and ignored grandchildren, and a cream-colored letter that said do not walk back through our door. And now that the numbers had changed, they wanted to approach with a plan. I drove home, printed the screenshots, opened the binder. Item 26. Family group chat. Financial tracking. Reconnaissance confirmed. Compliance core went public on a Wednesday in October. Marcus and I stood on the floor of the NASDAQ in New York. Him in a charcoal suit. Me in a navy blazer. We watched the stock open at $18 a share. By noon 20. By close 22. Market cap. $440 million. Marcus and I held 10%. Net worth on paper. $44 million. I didn't know what to do with that number. It felt like a spreadsheet cell someone had typed wrong. Too many zeros. Check the formula. But the zeros were right. I had checked the formula. That was literally my job. We celebrated with room service sushi in our hotel room overlooking Times Square. Marcus fell asleep on the couch at 9:15, still wearing his suit jacket. I stayed up. Not because of the IPO. Because of what I knew was coming next. I checked my phone. 5 missed calls. Area code 740. Milfield, Ohio. 3 from unknown numbers. 1 from Kenneth. 1 from Diane. I set the phone face down on the nightstand. 9 years. $44 million. And suddenly, Iris Archer was worth knowing again. She arrived on a Tuesday. 10:14 in the morning. Beige cardigan. Black slacks. Pearl studs. A carry-on suitcase worn at the corners. I watched her from the kitchen window, drying a mug. She stood on the sidewalk for 30 seconds before she walked up the path. She looked at the house. The craftsman details. The porch swing. Marcus's garden beds. Evaluating. The doorbell rang. I opened the door. We stood 3 feet apart. She looked older. More gray. Lines around her mouth that hadn't been there 9 years ago. Her eyes, the same shade of green as mine, were already damp. Iris. Mom. For seconds of silence. Then, I came to talk about the children's future. Not, I missed you. Not, I was wrong. Not, I'm sorry. I came to talk about the children's future. The children she had never met. The children whose photos she returned in sealed envelopes. I looked at the suitcase. I looked at the folded paper in her right hand. Kumain. I did not lead her to the living room. I led her to the kitchen. The kitchen had a table. Good light. It had the fridge covered in Cora's photos and the twins' artwork and Sophie's world map, where she marked every country she wanted to visit someday. The kitchen was where truth lived in this house. And truth was what we were about to have. She sat down. I poured 2 glasses of water. No coffee. Coffee was for people who were staying. She unfolded the paper. Her handwriting. Blue ink. 5 bullet points. Each one neat, deliberate, the product of hours of calculation. She read them aloud. Retirement fund. $500,000. College fund for Paige's son, Thomas, $200,000. Medical expenses, your father's knee surgery, $45,000. Mortgage payoff the family home, $180,000. Monthly support, $3,000. She folded the paper, placed it on the table, looked at me. This is what families do, Iris. Your father worked his whole life. He sacrificed for you, for both of you. It's time to give back. I stared at the list. $925,000. Itemized. Calculated. Presented like an invoice. Not once during the reading did she say sorry. I picked up the list. Read each line one more time. Then I stood up and walked to my office. The bottom drawer was exactly where I left it. Behind the tax folders. Behind the old insurance documents. I pulled out the binder. Navy blue. 3 rings. Heavy, the kind of weight that comes from 9 years of documentation. I carried it back to the kitchen and set it on the table. Right next to her list. 2 documents. Hers 1 page. 5 bullets. $925,000. Mine 29 items. 9 years. 0 apologies received. Diane looked at the binder. At the red pen labels visible through the clear cover. At the thickness of it. Nearly 3 inches of tabs and documents and printed screenshots and returned birthday cards in their original envelopes. What is that? You brought a list, Mom? I sat down. Placed my hands flat on the table. I brought one too. I opened to tab 1. Year 1. And I started reading. I did not raise my voice. I did not cry. I did not perform. I read the way I read quarterly reports to the board. Factual. Organized. Item by item. I pulled out the first envelope, white still sealed, red stamp across the front. Item 1. Birthday card. Mailed September 12, 2017. Returned September 23rd. I placed it on the table. Second envelope. Item 2. Wedding photo. Mailed June 14, 2017. Returned June 25th. Third. Item 3. Christmas card. Mailed December 8, 2017. Returned December 21st. One by one. Slowly. The way you lay out evidence in an audit. No commentary. No emotion. Just documents arranged in chronological order. Diane's mouth opened, then closed. She stared at the growing row of envelopes on the table. White rectangles with red stamps. Each one a door I had tried to open. And she had slammed shut. These are the birthday cards I sent you every year for 9 years. Every single one came back. Iris, I'm not finished. I moved to tab 2. Year 2. A voicemail transcript. Unanswered call logs. A Facebook screenshot. Item 5. Text from Dad. February 12, 2018. 4 words. Your mother needs time. I set the printout on the table. It has been 9 years, Mom. How much more time did you need? The tears came. I expected them. Diane covered her face and made that sound. The controlled, theatrical cry she used when she wanted sympathy without surrendering dignity. The same cry she used when Dad forgot their anniversary. The same cry she used when the church didn't pick her casserole for the potluck. I was hurt, Iris. You chose him over us. You left that I didn't leave. You told me not to come back. That's not. I was upset. People say things when they're upset. I flipped to tab 4. Year 4. Item 16. Text from Paige to a mutual friend. March 9, 2021. I read it aloud. Slowly. Her children don't have real grandparents. That is what she chose. Diane flinched. I flipped to the last tab. The screenshots. 7 pages. Item 26. Family group chat. October 4, 2025. I read Paige's message. Make a list. Be specific about what we need. She's a numbers person. She'll respond to numbers. Then Diane's own words read back to her. She has more money than this entire town. She can afford to help her family. Diane's face changed. The theatrical tears dried up instantly. Something harder surfaced. The same expression she wore when Paige broke the good china and blamed it on the dog. Anger. Not guilt. Anger. You had no right to read that. I looked at her. Level. Steady. You had no right to return my children's photos. The kitchen went silent. Then I reached for one specific item. Tab 5. Year 7. The envelope was slightly different from the others. Same white paper. Same red stamp. But the flap was creased. The glue had been cut and resealed with a thin strip of clear tape. I held it up. Item 23. Birthday card. Year 7. Inside this card was a photo of Liam and Sophie at their school fall festival. On the back I wrote, they ask about you sometimes. I tell them you live far away. I set the envelope on the table. This card was opened. Someone looked at their photo, looked at their faces, then sealed it back up and sent it back. Diane's jaw tightened. Who opened it, Mom? Silence. Dad opened it. You wanted to keep it. And you made him send it back. Diane's hands were flat on the table now. Her eyes on the envelope. On the tape. She whispered something so quiet I almost missed it. I was afraid. I waited. If I let him keep it, if I let any of it in, I would have had to admit I was wrong. That I lost 9 years for nothing. That I pushed away my grandchildren because I was too proud to. She stopped. Swallowed. For 1 second, maybe 2, I saw something real in her face. Not performance. Not manipulation. Actual fear. The kind that lives under anger for so long it forgets how to come out any other way. Then it was gone. Her chin lifted. Her posture stiffened. But you left us, Iris. You made your choice. The moment of honesty evaporated like steam off a coffee cup. Gone before I could hold it. I placed her list of demands on the left side of the table. I placed the binder on the right. 2 documents. Side by side. Your list. $925,000. 5 bullet points. No apology. I tapped the binder. My list. 29 items. 9 years of silence. 9 years of returned birthday cards. Ignored grandchildren. A daughter you erased, not because she did something wrong, but because she married the wrong man. Diane stood up. The chair scraped the tile. After everything we did for you growing up, the food, the clothes, the school supplies, this is how you repay us? You raised me. That is not a debt. That is what parents do. We gave you everything. You gave me a card that said come home soon. Then you told me not to come back. She had no answer for that. I could see her searching, scanning through every guilt trip, every emotional leverage point she had ever used, and finding nothing that fit. You said he was not one of us. But for 9 years, his mother was the only grandmother my children ever had. The words hung in the kitchen like smoke. She heard them. I watched them land. She had nothing left to say. The garage door rumbled. Marcus walked in through the laundry room. Keys in one hand. Laptop bag over his shoulder. He saw Diane. He saw the binder. He saw me. He didn't speak. He set his bag on the counter. Walked to where I was sitting. Put his hand on my shoulder. Sat down next to me. That was it. No words. No confrontación. No dramatic entrance. Just a man sitting next to his wife, because she needed him there. Diane looked at Marcus. The man she had refused to accept 9 years ago. He wore a flannel shirt and running shoes and a watch that cost less than her pearl studs. There was nothing flashy about him. Nothing that announced $44 million. He was just a man. A good man. A father. A husband. And he was right here, hand on my shoulder, saying everything without opening his mouth. Diane stared at the space between them. At the quiet that held no tension, no performance, no need for words. She understood. I didn't need the Archer family. I had already built my own. I spoke quietly. The way you deliver a final number on a balance sheet. I will not give you money. She opened her mouth. Not because I can't afford it. Because the moment I hand you a check, you will believe you were right to stay away until it was profitable to come back. You will tell yourself the 9 years were just a rough patch. I picked up her list. Held it out. They were not a rough patch. They were a choice. Your choice. Every returned card. Every ignored voicemail. Every photo of your grandchildren that you looked at and sent back. She did not take the list. If you want to know your grandchildren, really know them. Not as a line item on a financial plan. That starts with an apology. Not to me. To them. And it doesn't start today. It starts when you are ready to mean it. Diane took the list. Picked up her suitcase. Walked to the front door. She stopped. Turned around. Opened her mouth. Closed it. Walked out. The door clicked shut. Not a slam. A click. The sound of someone leaving who knew she had lost something she could not buy back. 2 weeks have passed. Kenneth called. Not on a weekend. On a Tuesday morning. His voice was thinner than I remembered. Older. But something underneath had cracked open. Baby girl. I saw you on the news. You and Marcus on the stock exchange floor. I'm proud of you. I have always been. A long pause. Breathing. I should have opened that door for you 9 years ago. I should have picked up the phone. I should have driven to Portland the day the twins were born. I should have done a lot of things. I'm sorry. Not because of the money. I don't want your money. I want to know my grandchildren. I was quiet for 17 seconds. I counted. I believe you, Dad. But believing you and trusting you are different things. We start slow. Phone calls every 2 weeks. No visits yet. No money. Just talking. He agreed. That's more than I deserve. It's exactly what you deserve. Not more. Not less. Paige texted once. 1 line. You could have just helped. I didn't reply. Some messages are their own answer. Diane did not call. Did not text. Did not write. The silence returned, but this time it was hers. I had said everything I needed to say. The next move was hers. The binder sits in the bottom drawer. 29 items. 9 years. I did not add a 30th. I hope I never have to. Here is what 9 years of silence taught me. Family is not the people who share your last name. Family is not the people who show up when your net worth changes. Family is the people who show up when your world is small and your garage is cold and your babies need a grandmother. The people who fly from Cleveland every 6 weeks and crochet blankets and teach your son how to make grilled cheese. That is family. And it was never about the money. It was about showing up.